Let's go Niners. Let's go Niners. Let's go Niners. Let's go Niners. Faithful Niner Empire. What's good? You know who it is. It's your boy, Jay in the Bay. How wonderful it is to be back with the faithful, the Niner Empire. Who's excited for some 49ers football? We got the home opener of your San Francisco 49ers at Levi Stadium. We're playing against them good old Sea Pigeons. I mean, what could be better, faithful? Opening up Levi Stadium, opening up the stadium to the faithful, to the Niner Empire, the best fans in the NFL, and we do that against a division rival in the Seattle Seahawks. I don't see what other way we could have opened the season up at home. Maybe if it was against the Rams or something, but there's no doubt the Seahawks, the 49ers rivalry is active. I think it's still active. It's still alive and well. There are definitely some players that are no longer with both teams, I guess you could say. Obviously, the biggest name is Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson, hey, no longer with the Seahawks. You don't have to worry about him anymore. We don't have to worry about Bobby Wagner. Dwayne Brown, the left tackle, he's no longer there. And did you guys know the Seattle Seahawks have 8 new offensive starters on their roster? So I think they're definitely a team in transition. The Seattle Seahawks are, but they showed up and showed out in front of the 12 last week against Denver Broncos and Russell Wilson, and that was their Super Bowl, in my opinion. Faithful, that was the Seattle Seahawks Super Bowl, that's for sure. And I think they gave it their all against the Denver Broncos at home, and it'll be interesting to see how they react. How are they still able to get up and face the division rival San Francisco 49ers at Levi Stadium? It'll be interesting to see, because to come off of that high of beating Russell Wilson and then now you play the 49ers, it'll be interesting to see how Seattle comes out. But there's no make no mistake about it. Pete Carroll, he will have this team ready to go. But which 49ers team are we going to get out there, faithful? Hey, we had a disappointing loss last week against Chicago, and hopefully we get a much better performance on both sides of the ball this today in less than an hour. And if we do get that type of performance, I definitely think we can, win this game and become 1-1 during the season. So huge shout out everyone watching Jay in the Bay Facebook, Jay in the Bay YouTube, Jay in the Bay Twitter. Appreciate all the support. Unfortunately, Steezy A. Smith, Seattle Seahawks YouTuber, content creator, unfortunately, he will not be with us today. He's feeling a little bit under the weather. So unfortunately, YouTuber Steezy A. Smith, he will not join the show today. He's feeling under the weather. I wish the best for Steezy, and hopefully he will heal up sooner than later. So wish you feel better, Steezy. But for those that are tuning in right now, feel free to hit that thumbs up button. Make sure you hit that subscribe button as well. And this is, of course, an interactive show, and I love to see everyone in the chat. And I appreciate everyone's support. We have David V in the building. What's good? Appreciate you coming through to the stream, D. How is your Sunday afternoon going? We are about 58 minutes till kickoff. David V says, "What's good, brother J? LFG Niners. That's right." Platform 246, what's good? Appreciate you tuning in to the stream, Lawrence. How are you doing? I know you are doing I think you're doing a live stream during the game, man. Hopefully you get a lot of people watching you during the game, man. And always supporting you, Lawrence, that's for sure. And I appreciate you coming onto my platform, man. Appreciate that. David V, he says the debut of Danny Gray. That's right. And we will get into today's inactives and actives for both teams. But first, we have to talk about the weather in this game. We know we had a monsoon type of weather last week in Chi-Town. And it's not going to be like that in Santa Clara today, but it looks like it was raining. So for those that don't live in the Bay Area, when I got up this morning, it was raining. It was raining hard. And then it stopped, I would say, maybe about an hour or so ago. So here's the hourly weather report. Let me refresh this so that way we get up to the second clarity on the weather. Because if you don't live in Cali, the weather can change like that at the drop of a hat. So as of right now in Santa Clara, looks like it's 67 degrees. It is raining 89%. But as we get towards 1 o'clock, it looks like there won't be any rain. So I think this is great news. I don't know about you, Faithful, but I did not want to see another rainy game for the 49ers. I definitely did not want to see that. But as we get towards 1 o'clock, Faithful, it looks like there's not going to be rain. So, and as we go out through the rest of the day, it's 23% chance of rain at 1, 20% chance of rain at 2, 3 o'clock. The percentage of chance that it's going to rain continually goes down. So, no excuses, right, Faithful? No excuses, man. Hey, the weather's going to be nice. It's going to be sunny out there. I think it's perfect football weather. No one wants it too hot. No one wants it too cold. This is right in the middle. That sounds like Bay Area weather to me. So, expect a clear forecast. Shouldn't have to worry about the rain at all today. So that's great news. I'm doing very well. Platform 246. I'm doing very well, man. It's a home opener football. What could be better? And we don't have to worry about the rain. We also got some news on some inactives as well. Let's put that up on the screen. Let's get the inactives list up here. And we got a tweet from Matt Mayoko. He was so gracious enough to give us an update on the inactive players. I think he did an inactive list for the 49ers, and I have another update for the Seattle Seahawks inactive players. But this is Matt Mayoko, great 49er reporter. Let me enhance that. You guys could see it. Let's see. So right now, George Kittle's inactive. That was reported yesterday. And, no surprise, really. Supposedly he's got the grade 2 growing strain. So he's expected, hey, he should be out at least 3 to 6 weeks. Now we know in NFL time, that's going to be sped up greatly. But, hey, it was good that George Kittle did practice this week. I believe he practiced on Friday, and possibly Thursday. So it's good that he's practicing. I think that's a step in the right direction. But I'm not shocked that Kittle's not playing. He suffered the groin injury. It can be a lengthy return time, I think. But hey, maybe he'll be better to go next week versus Denver. I guess we'll see what happens. But I think we'll see a lot of Tyler Kroft. We'll see a lot of Charlie Warner, and we'll see a lot of Ross Dwelly. And I think all three of those guys are capable. They're not George Kittle, but I think those three guys are definitely capable. That's for sure. No doubt about that. Also, offensive lineman Daniel Brunskill, he's still out with the hamstring injury. No surprise there. I don't believe he practiced this week. So no surprise there. He's still recovering from that hamstring injury. Quarterback Brock Purdy and offensive lineman Nick Zakiel will be inactive. No surprise there. But there was one surprise. Defensive end Kemoko Turay. I'm kind of surprised that Kemoko Turay is inactive. He was brought up to the active roster. Let's go back a little bit. So Kemoko Turay was a free agent we signed this offseason. He did not make the initial 53-man active roster, but he showed that he could play the run. He showed that he could rush the passer in preseason games. He did not initially make the 53-man roster, but we were able to bring him back onto the practice squad. Now, Jordan Willis, he will be out the next 4 weeks. I think he's getting his knee cleaned up or something like that, and he's going to be out for the next month. So the 49ers decided to bring up Kemoko Turay to the active roster, but unfortunately, he will not suit up today for whatever reason. Now, we do have a 53-man active roster, but on game day, that cuts down to 46 players. So this is the reason why a guy could be on the active roster but not necessarily play in the game. And these guys will not suit up. They won't even be in uniform. So that's the latest inactive report from the 49ers, and that's from Matt Mayoko's Twitter account. Appreciate that, Matt. Also, we know Elijah Mitchell, he's got the MCL sprain. He's expected to be out for 8 weeks. We should see Jeff Wilson Jr. start at that running back spot, no doubt. He is the veteran. He will be used as a third down back as well. And let's face it, Kyle Shanahan trusts Jeff Wilson Jr. He may not be as gifted or in the prime of his career as the other running backs are, but there's no doubt Kyle Shanahan trusts Jeff Wilson Jr. He knows that Jeff Wilson Jr. knows the scheme. He knows the playbook. He knows where he's supposed to line up. He knows what he needs to do when he doesn't have the ball in his hands. He's good in pass protection. So that's why we're leaning on Jeff Wilson Jr. But we should see our rookie third-round pick, Ty Davis-Price, who we drafted this year. He was inactive last week, but he will be active today. So hopefully we'll see Ty Davis-Price, and we should see Jordan Mason as well. Now, Marlon Mack, the running back we signed this week, I believe he is on the practice squad, I believe. So he hasn't gotten called up just yet, but Marlon Mack is recovering from a torn Achilles injury that he suffered 2 years ago. We saw him against the third preseason game when he was on the Houston Texans. I like that signing that we picked up Marlon Mack, and he's not expected to carry the load. So today we'll see Jeff Wilson Jr., Ty Davis-Price. We'll also see, of course, Deebo Samuel running the ball, and hopefully we see Jordan Mason. So those are the actives today, and appreciate that bit of information, Matt Mayoko. And let's continue on with these comments. And in addition to the inactives and actives, we got to say, Danny Gray, the speedster that we got this year in the draft, he was inactive last week versus Chicago, I would assume due to the weather, but he should be active today, and that will give Trey Lance and this offense a speed threat. The Seahawks will have to keep in mind when Danny Gray is on the field, because he's a 4.2, 4.3 guy, and he's obviously very fast. He'll stretch the defense. He'll be able to run deep, and maybe there'll be some crossing routes underneath. So I'm very excited to see Danny Gray. Very excited, as well as David is as well. And let's see, Platform says he's setting up that Niners live stream. Absolutely, man. Same to you, Platform. Same to you, man. All love and support to you as well. We got Andre in the building. What's good? Appreciate you coming in to the stream today, Andre. Man, I hope all is well. I know you're geeked up for this game, this home opener. Let's see. David B says, need the killer bees. Banks, Burford, and Brindle to dominate. Hey, I like to hear that, man. I think last week they played solid. I think Burford, according to PFF, was the highest rated blocker on the 49ers last week. A little bit of surprising considering we have an all-pro left tackle in Trent Williams. But, the starters, they don't play the preseason, right? So it's not an excuse, but it's a reality. The 49ers starters, majority of them don't play the preseason. So you could call it a little bit of rust, or you could call it, hey, maybe they got tired in the second half. But I think we'll definitely see a better performance today. The weather won't be an issue. It's perfect football weather. It's not too hot, not too cold. And, I don't see anyone on Seattle that really could be a difference maker on that defensive line. I didn't see anyone when they were playing Denver that really was a difference maker. I know they got Boye Mafe, and that'll be interesting to see where he lines up. Could he be lining up against Trent Williams, or would he be lining up against Mike McGlinchey? So they do have a middle linebacker, the Seattle Seahawks. They do have a middle linebacker. I think Jordan Brooks is his name. He's a pretty good tackler. And, of course, unfortunately, they're without Jamal Adams. And speaking of the Seahawks, let's get into the Seahawks inactive list for today's game. So they have cornerback Artie Burns, cornerback Justin Coleman, free safety Joey Blunt, tackle Jake Curhan, Derek Young, wide receiver, and Miles Adams, defensive tackle. So they'll be without several guys, and I mean this should be a this should be a pretty easy game for Trey Lance. I mean, we don't have to go up against two of their starting corners. So that definitely will make Trey Lance's job a little bit easier. And so we'll see what happens. We'll see. I know they have a young corner who's like 6'4", 200, runs like a 4.2. I've heard of him. But we'll see what he does. He'll most likely be lined up on the Ayuk show, and I'm wearing his jersey today, Brandon Ayuk. So, hey, I think hopefully Brandon Ayuk gets more than 2 targets, today. I think he'll definitely get more than 2 targets, and I can't wait to see this offense in decent weather. So, those are the inactives for the Seattle Seahawks. Of course, there also will be without Jamal Adams. Unfortunately, he'll be out for the rest of the season. Jamal Adams, that is. So that is unfortunate. Andre says his Sunday ticket is down. Dang, that's tough. He says, anyone else have trouble? I don't have Sunday ticket, and I believe my connection is still good. So hopefully it comes back. It comes back up, because that's terrible. I mean, that's what you use. That's what you pay for the service for, is to watch the NFL games on Sunday. And yeah, that's terrible, man. I would say call them, man. Call Sunday ticket. See what they can do for you. Tommy Huxley, what's good? Appreciate you tuning in to the stream today, Tommy. He says, man, I have no faith today. The Seagulls have our number. Well, I would say this, Shanahan in his last 10 games versus the Seahawks, he's only won 2 games out of the last 10. So that's definitely not a good record. That's for sure. I mean, let's be real. The Seahawks have definitely dominated this matchup. There's no doubt about it. But they don't have Russell Wilson. They don't have Wag anymore in the middle. They don't have Dwayne Brown at left tackle. So I think this is a different Seahawks team. This definitely is not the same Seahawks team. There's no more Legion of Boom. I think this is a totally different scenario. I think it could still be a tight game, maybe in like the first quarter. But, I saw Geno last week against Denver, and I thought he was very efficient. I thought he played well. He got rid of the ball quickly. He got the ball to his playmakers, but he didn't really stretch the field. And that's kind of like what DK Metcalf is known for, is running those deep routes. I don't know if Geno Smith can really take advantage of that. I don't know if he can really, or at least last week. Last week, the Seahawks didn't really ask him to throw the ball deep. Let's see what he does today. I'm not really concerned about the Seahawks wide receivers. Are they better than what Chicago has? No doubt. But I like Emmanuel Mosley. I like Charvarius Ward. I like that matchup versus DK and Tyler Lockett. So I'm not really concerned. I think this is a totally different Seahawks team. They have 8 new offensive starters. So I'm not concerned, Tommy. I'm not concerned at all, man. Let's see. But we got Rick Diaz in the building. What's good? Appreciate you tuning in to the stream, Rick. He says, hello, my friend. It's time to rumble. Go 49ers. America's team will be okay. It's time for showtime. Absolutely, man. Absolutely. Yep, I agree with you, David. We should get a Jordan Mason sighting, and also a Ty Davis Price sighting as well. Looking forward to that. Tommy Huxley, hot diggity dog. I appreciate that super chat. Appreciate that donation, man. And he says Jeff Wilson is dog water. He's not. Jeff Wilson Jr., he's not as explosive as we saw him pre the meniscus injury. Maybe he's still returning back from that. Hey, maybe, I mean, he's healthy, but yeah, he doesn't have that spark. He can break some tackles, but yeah, he's just not as fast or quick as Elijah Mitchell, that's for sure. But hey, Shanahan trusts him. Shanahan, trusts Jeff Wilson Jr., and that's why he's going to be starting. But Shanahan said in a press conference this week, Shanahan said he's going to ride the hot hand. That's what Shanahan said. So, hey, if Jeff Wilson Jr. ain't got it, hey, we'll go to TDP, we'll go to Jordan Mason and see what they can do. We got Shifty's 49ers talk in the building. What's good? Appreciate you tuning in today, Shifty. Hope all is well. I know you're geeked up for this game, this home opener versus the Sea Pigeons. Shifty says, hey, Jay, hope you enjoy the game today and we get that dub. Absolutely, man. 100. Absolutely. Let's see. Rick Diaz says, thank you, my friend. Thank you. Very important. The morning roster, whoever is fair to who's not. Yeah. So the main guys, Kittle's not playing. Brunskill's not playing. Kamiko Toure's not playing. So those are the main guys for the 49ers. Rick says, I wish I was in their game there today. Yeah, I wish it was her Levi Stadium. I want to watch him in the TV over here in Chicago. Well, enjoy the game, Rick. I would say that. Enjoy the game. We're about 40 minutes away from kickoff. I can't wait. Rain won't be an issue. And man, I can't wait. Appreciate the kind thoughts, Rick. Appreciate that, man. Yep, Jamal Adams is out too, and unfortunately for him and the Seahawks, he is out for the season. Rick Diaz also says, Jay, if you get the highlights on the Buccaneers and Saints game, both teams are fighting. Wow. Dang, I didn't see that. That is a heated rivalry between the Saints and the Falcons. The Saints and the Buccaneers. That's a division rivalry, and I believe the Saints have beaten the Buccaneers every year Tom Brady has been there in the regular season, I believe. So there's no doubt the Saints, they know how to beat Tom Brady. That's for sure. We got Blue True in the building. Hot diggity dog. Appreciate that contribution to the stream, Blue True. Blue True says, what's good at Jay and the Bay and the Niner Empire? Let's get this win. Absolutely. Let's get this win. We'll definitely get into Jay's keys to the game a little bit later on in the show. And if you guys are enjoying the show, if you guys are ready for some 49er football, make sure you hit that thumbs up button. If you haven't, make sure you subscribe to Jay and the Bay. Hit that bell notification. I will have a post-game live stream today. I believe it's at 5:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Feel free to join the Niner Empire back here 5:30 p.m. today, and we'll go over the Niners game. And also, it's a call-in show. So, hey, feel free to call in later on tonight, 5:30, and hey, express your thoughts, your feelings about this 49ers game. And hopefully it will be a victory post-game show. That's what we're hoping out for. So let's see. We got Bay Area Sports Report, J Mouse. What's good? Appreciate you tuning in tonight, man. Appreciate it. It is your boy J Mouse. Exactly. CJ, what's good? Appreciate you coming on. I know you're geeked up for your Seahawks today, man. I know the Seahawks are riding high after beating Russell Wilson and them Denver Broncos. And it'll be interesting to see what Seahawks team we get today, because I think, to me, that was their Super Bowl, to beat, the best player in their franchise at their home turf. Like, I mean, what could be better, right? But he says, CJ says, what up, Jay, and Niners Nation. Yep, very, very unfortunate, Jay, that Kittle is out, but I wasn't shocked. It was good to see him practice a little bit this week. That's definitely a sign in the right direction. But, he's got that growing strain. It's grade 2. He's going to be out multiple weeks. Maybe he'll be back against Denver next week. I guess we'll see. We shall see. And Tommy, it is raining now, but it's supposed to stop by game time, and then it's not supposed to rain throughout the rest of the game. But we know this California weather, man. It could change at the drop of a hat. So, but at least that was the weather report a few minutes ago, that it shouldn't be raining during the game. Let's see. Some news. Yesterday or day before, Big Mitch Wishnowsky re-signs with the 49ers on a 4-year deal. Kind of surprising. He's never the greatest punter, but clearly the 49ers see value in Mitch, and I think with the new special teams coordinator, maybe he can get more out of Mitch or whatever. But hey, Mitch got that 4-year deal worth $13 million. Congrats to Mitch and his fam. Mitch Wishnowsky. All right, so let's continue on. let's ask the faithful. Let's ask the people in the comments a question. Let's see. I would say due to the weather being what it is now, so during the game it should not rain. How many how many passing attempts and passing yards should we expect from Trey Lance in this offense? Last week he was 13 of 28, completing under 50% of his passes. He made some great throws on some crossing routes and things like that. But I'd love to hear the faithful. How many passing yards and passing attempts for Trey Lance today? I'm going to say I think Trey Lance is going to have less pass attempts today. And I think because the weather's going to be, much better, 360, 100% better, because they're not expecting the rain. And even if it does rain a little bit, it's not going to be like how it was in Chi-Town. So I'm going to say Trey Lance he'll throw 23 passes. I think he'll complete about 14 of 23 passes, 2 touchdowns, and about 265 yards passing. I think we'll see him throw deep to Danny Gray. Maybe they connect on 1 or 2 of those plays. And that's what I'm saying for Trey Lance. So 14 of 23 passing, 265 yards, maybe 2 touchdown throws. And I think that's what he'll do in the passing game. I would love to hear the faithful, the Niner Empire. And I think he'll throw less than he did last week due to the weather. And hopefully we'll be able to have an effective run game so we won't have a one-dimensional offense in the second half. Because if we have an offense that can run and pass, I just don't think he'll need to throw that much. I don't think so. Let's continue on with these comments. Let's see. Jay says, if we lose, I will go into rage mode. We better win. I would agree. Is this a must-win game? I mean, the season is still early. I mean, this is only week 2. But there's no doubt we should beat the Seattle Seahawks. We are a better team from top to bottom. We've got the better overall roster. I think the only thing that the Seahawks could say they have better is probably their running game, their wide receivers. That's probably the only thing where I say, okay, the Seahawks probably have a better tandem of wide receivers than DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett. Or it's neck and neck. Maybe the Seahawks are slightly better than the Niners, but that's the closest. I think every other position the 49ers are better at. And I think we'll see that happen. Now, a familiar face. We will see a familiar face on the Seattle Seahawks. You guys know who that familiar face is? We will see ex-49ers player Marquise Goodwin on the Seattle Seahawks. And I think last week versus the Broncos, he had 2 targets, 2 catches. I think it was like 20 yards or something. And that's the thing with Geno. Geno's kind of similar to Jimmy. He's going to dink and dunk. So we're definitely going to have to get pressure. The Seattle Seahawks, as I mentioned before, 8 brand new starters on offense this year, including the left tackle and the right tackle. Both tackles are rookies. So Samson and Nick Bosa should be able to eat. We should be able to get pressure on Geno. And I think the first thing we got to do, definitely have to stop the run. There's no doubt about that. Got to stop the run, make Geno throw the ball. And I think that'll definitely put us in better chance to win. That's for sure. Andre says, I think Bosa is going to eat today, but Trey gets to concentrate on making it rain, points today, and stay out the clubs until he gets some W's. That's funny. We don't even know if that was Trey Lance. Trey, we don't know if that was Trey. And for people that don't know what Andre is referring to, this week there was a video that came out about Trey Lance, and I think there were some exotic dancers at this place that supposedly someone that looked like Trey. We don't know if that was Trey Lance, and we don't know when that was. That could have been in college. We have no idea when that was. But it is what it is, man. He's 22 years old. He's making money. He's young. Hey, that's I don't see nothing wrong with it. He ain't hurt nobody. And hey, he's helping women get through college, let's just say. Tommy Huxley says J Mouse cow plus Stanford equals toilet juice / dog water. Ugh. Sejan says, appreciate it, brother, man. Let's have a good game. Absolutely. Absolutely. Andre says, exactly, Dre. Exactly. You can relate, he says, but I was young once, so I get it. Exactly. Tommy says, it will be our teams hate each other, going to be a dog fight. Absolutely. I think every divisional game, I think our fiercest division rival, I think it's between the Seahawks and the Rams. The Cardinals is definitely a rivalry, but I think it definitely ratchets up when we play the Seattle Seahawks. And let's be real, they've dominated the last games we played. It's funny. We've been dominated by the Seahawks the last 10 games. Shanahan's only won 2. The Rams, we pretty much dominated them the last 7. They won the most recent game, unfortunately, in the playoffs, but we dominated them. And then I think the Cardinals have beaten us quite a few times. They probably have more wins. We lost to Colt McCoy when he was the starting quarterback on the Cardinals. So that was definitely ridiculous. But it's funny. It all depends on matchups. And hopefully we can start a new streak today versus Pete Carroll and them good old Seattle Seahawks. Let's see. It has been a while, Jay Mouse, man. I appreciate you for coming on today. And he says he is a Stanford fan for life. All right, man. All right. We got David McNew in the building. What's good? Appreciate you for tuning in today, David McNew. We are about 30 minutes away from kickoff. I can't wait. And for those that haven't answered yet, feel free to answer that question. How many passing yards and how many pass attempts for Trey Lance today? I would love to hear you guys' thoughts. And it looks like Tommy says Michael Evans is ejected. So you're talking about the wide receiver from the Buccaneers. Okay. Yeah, supposedly there was a fight. So let's see. Andre says Justin Fields wore gloves last week. Trey did it. He needs to break out the gloves. Yeah, I'm not sure why he didn't use gloves, Trey Lance. I don't know. I guess that's not really his thing. And I'm also kind of surprised. Why didn't Shanahan, prepare the team to play in rainy weather? I don't understand why he wouldn't do that. But maybe that's something, you look at the forecast, you see it's going to rain on Sunday. Why not prepare the team? Maybe start throwing a wet football or maybe turn on the sprinklers. I don't know, but try to get them prepared. We got No Border Sports in the building. What's good? Appreciate you tuning in to the stream, No Borders, MBS. I know you geeked up for the game today. He says, Debo, that like button. Absolutely, man. Absolutely. All right, so David is the first person to respond to the question, how many passing yards and passing attempts for Trey? David says 20-ish passing attempts would be nice today. Yeah, I'm going to say 23. I think 23 pass attempts. We're going to try to run the ball 30 to 35 times, and I think that would be a good number for Trey. There's no doubt. Hufanga had a hell of a game last week. He made a mistake on that Pettis catch, but other than that, Hufanga was all over the field. And hopefully we see a similar Hufanga today. And I think we'll be just fine. But yeah, no doubt. Hufanga was the best player on the field last week. No doubt. Man, that's unfortunate, David. That's unfortunate. He says game not televised in my area today. Man, that sucks. I'm sure there's other, I'm sure there are YouTubers who are live broadcasting or, maybe try YouTube TV, man. Maybe try them, give them a shot. YouTube TV should be able to watch it on there. MBS tells us what's on the menu while he's watching the game. He's got pizza and wings. All right, man. That sounds good. That sounds real good. Yeah, I don't know what was up with that. Gino, he was showing love to Goodwin. I don't know what was up with that, man. That's funny. Aiden, what's good? Appreciate you coming on, Aiden. Good luck to your Seahawks today, man. I'm looking for a competitive game, and hopefully it goes back and forth, but there's no doubt I think the Niners should win this game. And same to you, man. Best of luck today. Should be a good game. Hoping your team is healthy throughout the entire game, man. MBS gives us his theory on Trey Lance today. He says Trey Lance will have at least 20 attempts and 250 yards. Okay, so yeah, I think the three of us have kind of said, hey, 20 attempt, at least 20 attempts and about 250 yards. So yeah, I think that is that should be a good area for Trey Lance to be at in his attempts. He shouldn't be. I mean, I just don't see why he should throw for more than 20, 23, 25 times. I just don't see it. David says that Geno Smith, Marquise Goodwin picture will live forever. I think you're right. I definitely think you are right, man. Let's see. Let's get into my keys to victory for the San Francisco 49ers. So my number one key to victory for this team, and obviously it starts with the quarterback. He touches the ball on every snap. I think he's going to have to do a better job at completing his passes. So I think if he has a better, completion rate, I think it'll help the 49ers and Trey Lance. Last week he was under 50% at 13 of 28. I guess that he'll be like somewhere 14 of 23 if he throws 23 passes. So that's a little bit more than 50%, but I think that's going to be a work in progress for Trey and his offense. Sometimes he throws a little bit high, but we got to remember, the guy hasn't had a ton of snaps. He's not going to look as polished as some other quarterbacks who've started, 4 years in college. So as long as we can rely on this run game, I think it'll definitely help Trey. And we have to have an offense that can run the ball and pass the ball. I think that'll definitely help Trey. But I think that's going to be a key almost every game is have that completion percentage get as close to 60 to 70% as you can get. I mean, Geno Smith was 23 of 28, and obviously Geno Smith has played, the quarterback position probably at least a decade. So can't really compare the two, but I think that would be great if Trey Lance could have a completion percentage like Geno Smith had last week. Geno was 23 of 28. I mean, that's incredible. Now, granted, Geno didn't throw the ball downfield. He didn't really throw the ball outside of the numbers. He was just dinking and dunking, but hey, he was efficient. And that's what we need from Trey. Be efficient and also, hit that defense over the top with a few, big plays down the field. And I think that'll go a long way. Let's see. David V says 23 passing attempts, 242 yards, 2 touchdowns. All right. I like that. I think that would be a nice area for Trey Lance to be in for sure. We got Libby's World in the building. What's good? Appreciate you tuning in to the stream, Libby's World. Libby's World says pizza sounds good with some ranch. What? You eat pizza with ranch, Libby's World? Is there anyone else in the chat who eats pizza with ranch? I'm not a huge ranch fan when I eat my pizza. I just prefer eat the pizza. Maybe I'll put a little Parmesan cheese on the top, but that's it. But hey, more power to you if you like pizza with your ranch. Does anyone else in the chat like pizza with their ranch? And she says, what's good? Appreciate you tuning in today, Libby's World. We got DDC in the building. What's good? DDC says, what's good? Sup, Jay? Hope you're having a good weekend. Let's go Niners. Same to you, man. Hopefully your weekend is going well. And we are about 25 minutes away from kickoff. I can't wait. I wonder who's going to win the coin toss. Who's going to win the coin toss? If the 49ers win the coin toss, will they defer, meaning the Seattle Seahawks get the ball first, or will they accept and the 49ers offense will be on the field first? I guess we'll see. But I know that Levi Stadium crowd, the faithful, is going to be real loud out there today. I'm sure it's sold out. It's got to be sold out. Trey Lance is debuting this season, as the 49ers starting quarterback. So I know it's going to be loud out there. And we got to make it really loud to make it more difficult for that Seahawks offense. All right. We're getting some answers on pizza with ranch. Oh, Tommy says he loves pizza, ranch with pizza. Okay. And he says, I'm Italian. Okay. All right. DDC got to have that ranch with pizza. Okay. All right. All right, we got a few people in the chat. So a few people are with Libby's World. They like that ranch with pizza. All right. David V says, Pizza with buffalo instead of marinara. Okay, so you like your pizza with buffalo sauce instead of marinara sauce. Interesting. That's that's pretty interesting. I wouldn't mind if I had marinara sauce to dip my pizza in. I wouldn't mind that. But yeah, me personally. Now, if I have some breadsticks, I could dip my breadsticks in the ranch. I could do that. But Living Terrell said Jay ain't living his best life until he has ranch with pizza. That's pretty good. That's pretty good, Libby's World. NBS says he says garlic butter sauce. Interesting. Okay. Garlic butter sauce. That sounds good. Rick Diaz says, where are you going to use for lunch? I seen the 49er game. Let's see. I don't know what I'm gonna get. Maybe pizza, maybe some Chipotle. I don't know. Maybe some chips and sauce or something. That's always good on game day. That's always good. Let's see. Let's go back. I think I might have missed. Okay. Tommy Huxley says that ball security is priority one. There's no doubt about that. Definitely, we have to play button-up football. That is definitely one of my keys as well, Tommy. That Deebo Samuel fumble last week, that was tough. We're driving in the red zone, getting ready to score. Possibly our best running back has the ball. I know he wants to redeem himself today. That's for sure. I know he had a touchdown as well last week, but our best players can't make mistakes like that. And, that's for sure. So I agree with you, Tommy. Ball security is priority one. NBS says we need to test their D with Danny Gray early so it's always in the back of their head. Absolutely. We have to make them leery of using that cover one coverage, which is just one safety at the top. Kind of like what we were doing last week against Chicago, where Hufanga was in the box. We had like 10 guys in the box, and then we had one safety, George Odom, over the top. And speaking of safeties, is George Odom going to start at safety again? That's something else to monitor. I know George Odom was in last week. Tayshaun Gibson was in as well. Was Tavarius Moore in? I don't recall seeing Tavarius Moore on defensive coverages. I know he was there on special teams, but I agree with you. Completely agree with you. Definitely have to throw a few deep shots to Danny Gray, and I think that's something that the Niners may have to worry about now. The Seahawks do have Marquise Goodwin. They got DK Metcalf. They didn't really stretch the field last week against Denver, but they could always call up that play and put some stress on the 49ers defense. So we'll see what happens. Let me get into my one of my keys. My key for the 49ers game, it will be the 49ers secondary. I think the 49ers secondary will get their stiffest test so far. And granted, it's only been 2 weeks, but I don't think the Bears and Justin Fields really tested the 49ers cornerbacks. Justin Fields didn't really throw outside of the numbers. He got like 51 yards on one play out of his total of 150 passing yards. So he didn't really stretch the field. He didn't throw the ball deep. He didn't really throw outside the numbers. And at least with the Seahawks, they have the weapons to go deep and put stress on these safeties and this defense. There's no doubt about that. Now, I don't know if Geno Smith is capable of throwing the ball deep, but we'll see. But I think Ward and Mooney could definitely get a test today because these are the two best wide receivers that, I think these are probably the two best wide receivers will probably play in the first month of the season. I know with Denver, Jerry Jeudy's pretty good, and they have weapons out there. With the Rams, of course, they got Cooper Kupp and Allen Robinson, but these are arguably the best wide receivers that will play within the first month of the season. So it'll be interesting to see how this 49ers defense is able to combat their offense. MBS, as far as food to watch during the game, he says chips and salsa or chips and hot sauce. For me, I'd rather do chips and salsa or chips and guacamole for me personally. Tommy Huxley says it needs to be homemade ranch, buttermilk, mayo, or sour cream, chives, parsley, dill, lime juice, and garlic. Wow, that's a lot of ingredients in that ranch, man. And homemade is definitely the best, no doubt about it. Tommy says, Ryan, yes, but in the rain, I wouldn't do it on third down, though, maybe first. And I think you're referring to probably throwing deep. I think depending on where you are, like let's say if you're on the opponent's, or let's say if you're on the opponent's 40-yard line and it's 3rd and 1, and you're obviously too far away for a field goal. And you could punt, but the odds of you getting a punt within the 10-yard line and closer to the end zone maybe not be as likely. So let's say you go for it on 3rd and 1, you do play action pass, you're looking to go deep. You could always go for it on 4th down. And that's an option, especially in that area of the field where a punt, you may not be only to net a 20-yard punt due to the end zone being so close. A field goal may be too long. That could be an option where you go for it. And hey, maybe on a 3rd-and-1 or a 3rd-and-6, 3rd-and-5, you do play action, go deep. That could be an option as well. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see Shanahan's script of the first 15 plays. Does he go deep to Danny Gray? We'll see. NBS says 2nd and short is the best time if you're a run-heavy team. I think any time is the best time when you convert it. If you get that long pass completed, man, hey, it's a win-win. We got SG Sports Talk Channel in the building. What's good? Appreciate you tuning in to the stream today. I hope all is well. In addition to the 49ers secondary, I know I talked about the corners, but I think the safeties, I think Huff, we'll see if Huff has another blunder in the secondary. Other than that, he was all over the field. He was the best player on both sides of the ball throughout majority of the game. We'll see if Huff can have a repeat performance against the Seahawks offense. Also, George Odom. I mean, I didn't really notice him that much. I know Tayshaun Gibson broke up a pass, but who's going to be starting opposite of Hufanga? Will it be George Odom or will it be Tayshaun Gibson? It'll just be something to monitor throughout the game. Tommy Huxley says they will load the box. I agree, because Geno didn't really stretch the field deep. He's kind of like Jimmy G 2.0, where he's going to dink and dunk. He's only going to throw about 10 to 15 yards from the line of scrimmage. I think, and we have to slow down their running game. Now, the Seahawks do have 2 pretty good running backs, and that's definitely something we'll have to slow down. I think our best case scenario is load up on the run, stop the run, make the Seahawks offense one-dimensional, and then force Geno Smith to beat us with his right arm. We also, I know everyone's probably thinking about this, but we have to play button-up football. What do you mean, Jay? Well, we can't not only face the opposing team and put ourselves in tough positions to overcome. And what I mean by that is we can't have ridiculous penalties. I'm not expecting the 49ers players to not have any penalties at all. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying like the roughing the passer or face mask penalties or hitting a player when they're out of bounds. And I know Greenlaw had 2 of those type penalties. I think Kinlaw had a holding penalty. I know Aziz had one of those penalties as well. So we just got to play button-up football. And we have to play aggressive on defense, of course, right? You love aggressive players, but it has to be a controlled aggression. We can't be out of control. And I think that's kind of like what we were last week. So hopefully we play much better as far as penalty-wise, and then also with turnovers. You can't afford to turn the ball. Honestly, if Trey Lance throws an interception, that won't shock me. I'll just put that out. I won't be shocked if he throws one INT today, because that's part of his learning process. He's going to make mistakes. He's going to throw interceptions. But I think the fumbles, though, especially with Deebo Samuel, that can't happen. And we have to be able to convert in the red zone. We were only 1 of 3 last week in the red zone, so we just left points on the board. That's something we can't have. So got to play button-up football. Let's see. Absolutely. Let's go Trey and Huff. Appreciate the kind words, DDC. Appreciate that, man. Yeah. Tommy Huxley, you're right, man. And it's funny. You said trick plays, and especially on special teams. Now, our current special team coordinator, Schneider, Brian Schneider, he was the Seattle Seahawks special teams coach last year, and I think for multiple years with the Seahawks. And last year, the Seahawks, I think we had a 3-and-out. It was the first drive of the game, and the Seahawks did a fake punt that went for a touchdown. So that's definitely something we got to watch out for. Pete Carroll's going to put out all the stops. They've got nothing to lose. They've already won one game, and they're going to try their hardest to, win this game, of course. Appreciate the kind words, SG. No, I am not at Levi Stadium right now. I wish I was, but no, I am not at Levi Stadium right now. Let's see. David V. He says Bosa, Armstead, Kinlaw, and Samson Bukum, the starting four. I would say so. Yes, I would say those are the starting four defensive linemen. Of course, you'll see a rotation. You'll see. We'll see the rookie. Drake Jackson, we'll definitely see him in there on edge rushing positions. We'll see Charles Omenwayhu. I think we'll see, Jordan Willis is out. I think we'll see Kevin Gibbons in there at interior defensive tackle. So, yeah, I think we'll definitely see a rotation of defensive linemen for sure. Let's get into my fourth key to the game. I think our running backs are going to have to step up. Obviously, Elijah Mitchell, man, he looked good when he was in there against Chicago. I liked what I saw from Elijah Mitchell last week. It sucks that he got hurt. He's going to be out for 2 months, and unfortunately, he just can't stay healthy. I mean, last year he only played 11 games in the regular season, and there's no way he's going to play double-digit games this year, so it's very unfortunate. But that gives another running back or other running backs opportunity. So, Jeff Wilson Jr. is going to start it off. We'll see Deebo Samuel, I'm sure. But also, hopefully, we'll see Jordan Mason and TDP. They've got an opportunity in front of them, and they got to make the most out of it. Obviously, it would help if the offensive line can create some holes, and they did do that in Chicago, but we just have to see it more consistently. So that's what I'm looking forward to see. Oh, yeah, of course. I forgot about Kerry Hyder as well. Kerry Hyder will be in on that defensive line as well, as David says. Unfortunately, David McNew, Kamiko Toure is inactive. Unfortunately, he will be inactive for today's game. Kamiko was brought up to the active roster due to Jordan Willis, getting his knee cleaned up, and Jordan Willis will be out for the next 4 weeks. But Kamiko Toure, he is a healthy scratch. He will not suit up in today's game. I'm not sure why, but only 46 out of 53 players can suit up on game day. So maybe we'll see Toure next week. But there's no doubt he left an impression with me in practice and in training camp. He's a guy that can do it all. He can stuff the run. He can get after the quarterback. So we'll see. I think eventually we'll see him in the regular season. But it'll be interesting to see how many defensive linemen they had active. So you had Bosa, Armstead, Kinlaw, Samson, Drake Jackson, Hyder, Omenwayhu, Kevin Gibbons. So that's 8 at least, and there might be one more maybe. So hey, I'm sure we'll see Kamiko Toure sometime in the near future though. Absolutely. Faithful then, faithful now. Hey, man, Drake Jackson, he's a young guy. There's definitely going to be some growing pains, but hopefully he can get better, week by week. And got to get into my last key for the game is the 49ers pass rush. I know in the first half, our defense was lights out, top to bottom at every level. But unfortunately, we gave the Bears, 5 first downs due to penalties. And that's something we can't allow to happen today. But also, this pass rush only got 2 sacks last week against Chicago. I think we definitely need to get better. The Seattle Seahawks have 8 new offensive starters, and 2 of those starters are at left tackle and right tackle. So that sounds like, a good matchup, or I should say that sounds like a favorable matchup for the 49ers with Samson, with Charles Omenwayhu, with Bosa. I mean, we get to tee off on 2 offensive rookie tackles. So, hey, I'm looking forward to seeing if the Seahawks get the ball first, a 3-and-out. That's what I'm looking forward to see, and that should be something that continues throughout the game. So those are my 5 keys to victory. Trey Lance, hopefully we see an improvement in his completion percentage. The 49ers secondary will get a test today because this tandem of wide receivers is probably the best we'll see in the first month of the season. We got to play button-up football, no penalties, no turnovers, or at least not the 15-yard variety penalties, and just play button-up. And hopefully Kyle Shanahan made that a point of emphasis during the week. Like we're too good to kill ourselves with these dumb penalties and the turnover. So also number 4, running backs. Hopefully we get to see another 150-yard rushing game. I think we had over 150 yards rushing against Chicago. So hopefully we get to see another performance like that today against Seattle. And of course, including Trey Lance. But a lot of guys will get an opportunity today. Jordan Mason, TDP, Jeff Wilson Jr. So we'll see what they can do. And then, of course, the 49ers pass rush. They can get pass rush on Geno, make him feel uncomfortable in the pocket. Hey, sky's the limit. Maybe we can get a few interceptions from Geno. My score prediction, SG. I got the Niners winning 24-14. Appreciate everyone who tuned into the stream today. And make sure you hit that thumbs up button. Make sure you subscribe. Hit that bell notification. I will have a post-game live stream tonight right back here on the Jay and the Bay YouTube channel at 5:30. And it'll also be a call-in show. Feel free to call in. And I will see you guys tonight. Enjoy the game and enjoy the grub. Go Niners.